Good evening, students. The next topic is going to be Shakespeare's history plays. Okay, with this topic, the unit 4 drama is going to be over, and from tomorrow onwards, we shall continue the paper translation studies. After completing 2 units in translation studies, 5th unit and 3rd unit, again we shall come back for 5th unit in literary forms. Okay. So what is there in Shakespeare's history plays? Shakespeare's history plays can be divided into 2 types, dealing with English history and those dealing with Roman history. So totally Shakespeare's history plays could be divided into 2. One is English history and the other plays dealing with Roman history. So history plays are nothing but the story is taken from real history. Okay. So for Shakespeare's history plays could be divided into English history and Roman history. And English history deals with English history. From that, he takes the story from English history and he dramatizes and then he presents for audience. And Roman history, the story is taken from Roman history and he dramatizes, imaginatively dramatizes the Roman history and then he presents to the audience. So that is said to be, that's how Shakespeare's history plays are classified. For the first type, Shakespeare borrowed materials from the English chronicles and chronicle plays of the period. Marlowe and Peele had written a historical plays, and chronicle history was popular at that time because it flattened the patriotic spirit of the English. From where does Shakespeare get all the material for to write history plays? Is that the chronicle plays, okay, English chronicle and chronicle plays. From that, from those books, Shakespeare got the material and he dramatizes for the English audience. Okay, and that book itself kindles English people's patriotic feel, and Shakespeare was a patriot and he was inspired by this book, and thus he wrote the English history plays. And when converted into dramatic form, chronicle history gave opportunities for striking action and enabled playwright to mingle the comic and tragic. Shakespeare followed the theatrical fashion of the time. So when he reads the book itself has a striking action which has more scope for developing into a dramatic form. And in history, the playwright is allowed to mingle comic and tragic. And he wrote the play according to the fashion of the time, according to the liking of the people of his time, and that's how English history were written. The material for Shakespeare's English plays, English historical plays, was derived from Chronicles of Holinshed, published in 1577. So from that particular book, the book name is Chronicles of Holinshed, published in 1577, and from that book only Shakespeare thoroughly read the book and then he wrote history plays. Though he added and omitted Swedish, Shakespeare adhered to the original in most part. And he is not sincere to the book. He imaginatively adds or deletes some scenes in history plays. And in English English historical plays has given us a full-length portrait of English kings, Richard II, King John, and Henry VI studies in kingly weakness, while Richard III, Henry IV and V are studies in kingly strength. So the English history plays deals with the life of English kings, and beautifully the king's character is sketched, and Richard in the place Richard II, King John and Henry VI, the king's weakness are portrayed, and in the place like Richard III, Henry IV and V, king's strength are beautifully described and portrayed. The English history plays are mirror for kings. Overall, the English history plays Shakespeare beautifully presents the character of the king. In some place he projects the king's weakness, and in some place he projects the king's strength. So what are the other characteristic features of English history plays written by Shakespeare? Each play represents famous events of a single reign as possible, and a famous event is taken, and that event is described and portrayed beautifully. So that is the first characteristic feature of English history plays by Shakespeare. And the second one, Shakespeare added or omitted and thus tampered with the chronology of events. So second point is, second characteristic feature is Shakespeare changes the chronology of events. Okay, one in the real history, one incident may take place in one particular year, the other incident take place may happen in the following year. But Shakespeare in his plays, he doesn't follow the exact chronological events. He to satisfy, to entertain his audience, he changes the chronology in his own way. And sometimes Shakespeare modifies chronology for dramatic effect, shortens the period between events, and even changes the age of character as he does with Queen Elizabeth. And the third point is the modification of chronology is further made. The year and the age of character and the number of characters, how the characters help, everything is completely changed by Shakespeare. And fourth point is the main subject of history play is character motive as history factor in history. Every historical person is presented in studied closely as a ruler, as a soldier, lover, husband, friend, or an enemy. So the character, the king, especially the king's character, is studied thoroughly, and this character may be Henry V or Henry VI, and the king as a king to the country, and the king as a husband to his wife, as a father to his son, and as a lover, as a soldier, and all the various aspects of the character are studied thoroughly, and it is presented to the audience beautifully. Okay, and so this is the fourth point. And the fifth point, in historical tragedies, the theme is success or failure in attaining practical objectives in material world, unlike the great tragedies where the theme and the goal are of spiritual nature. So in history, English history plays. Shakespeare tells how the king's material aim is satisfied. Okay, how the king's material aim of capturing the king, capturing the place, capturing the country, or capturing the wealth, that is portrayed beautifully. Whereas in Shakespeare's tragedy, regular tragedy, the hero faces the spiritual aim, the spiritual goal. That is focused, and then focused on regular tragedies like Hamlet, Othello, or King Lear. But English history plays like Julius Caesar, the material goal is satisfied or not. That is presented in by Shakespeare's English history plays. And the history plays show Shakespeare's deep-rooted love for his country. The hero of every English history play is England. All kings are judged by the success or failure to do their duty to the country and its people. So Shakespeare's deep-rooted love of his country is beautifully portrayed in all, especially English history plays. And as we read Shakespeare's English history plays, we can feel Shakespeare's patriot, and the patriotic feel is kindled even for the readers or audience. And that is the sixth point, as well as the most important point in Shakespeare's history. And we shall move to Shakespeare's Roman plays. In his Roman plays, Shakespeare made use of materials collected from Plutarch's Lives, translated and published in 1579. Okay. Shakespeare also wrote Roman histories dealing with the history of Rome, and from which book this is done. Okay. Plutarch's Lives is translated into English in 1579, and that book is an important book even in the history of translation also. Even in the history of translation, Plutarch's Lives is translated into English, and because of that book only, English people learnt Roman history and other countries' history. Okay, so Shakespeare also read that translated version of Plutarch's Lives. From that he learned the life history of Julius Caesar, Antony, Cleopatra, Brutus, and he thoroughly studied Roman history, and thus he wrote the play Julius Caesar, Antony, and Cleopatra. Okay, and Elizabethan interest in Roman history was part of Renaissance interest in classical life history and literature. Moreover, there were several historical affinities between English and Romans. So the Elizabethan interest in Roman history being the product of Renaissance, Shakespeare also was interested in the history of Greek and Latin. Okay, that is Rome, and their history, their literature, and their arts. So Shakespeare was interested in it, and it is reflected in Shakespeare's history plays. The important plays dealing with Roman history are Julius Caesar, Antony, Cleopatra, and Coriolanus. So in these three plays are best examples of Shakespeare's Roman history, and Julius Caesar deals with the life history of Julius Caesar, and Antony Cleopatra deals with the life of Antony and Cleopatra, and Coriolanus deals with his history, and they lived in Rome, and they are Roman history. Generally, Shakespeare followed the main outlines as in the original, but sometimes to suit dramatic purpose, he changes certain details as in done in the character of Coriolanus. So this feature is applicable for both Roman history plays as well as English history plays. That is, for sake of dramatic purpose, to narrate the story in an interesting way, Shakespeare changes certain things, certain chronology, certain events, and he immediately adds and deletes certain events. That is another feature of his history plays. And these plays are free from classical terms and allusion. Shakespeare concentrated on the elements of common life which are universal. Shakespeare not only in history plays, in all the plays Shakespeare never followed the classical three unites, and he never followed the rules and regulations of classical literature, and in history also he never followed any such kind of rules. And the third point, the Roman plays are structurally tragedies, unlike English chronicle plays. The theme of this plays bear comparison with the themes of great tragedies. It is a ruin of great soul. Hamlet may be compared with Brutus in his indecision. So the Julius Caesar and Antony Cleopatra are said to be tragedies. They are real person, and they die in the end. In the history also, they also face a horrible death. And but Roman plays also the tragedy deals with the tragedy of the soul. The psychological tragedy is beautifully presented. The psychological tragedy is beautifully presented. Hamlet, King Lear, as well as Macbeth. In this place, the psychological tragedy. Macbeth, though becoming a king, still he suffers a lot psychologically in his mind. And this is beautifully done even in Shakespeare's Roman history. Okay, and unlike English history plays, each Roman play is complete in itself. Roman play has the climax as complete, and it cannot be prolonged. We cannot expect the second part of Julius Caesar or Antony and Cleopatra. Of course, let's say Antony and Cleopatra is separate play and Julius is a separate play, but the character Antony is there even by Julius Caesar also. Okay, and Octavius Caesar is in Julius Caesar talked about the character called Octavius Caesar, but he never appears in the play. But the character Antony is there in the play Julius Caesar as well as in Antony Cleopatra. In Julius Caesar is the main hero, but in Antony and Cleopatra, Antony is the main hero. That character Antony is available even Julius Caesar. Okay, but let's say though it is the character of that continuation, but still, this we cannot say that Julius Caesar is a continuation of Antony and Cleopatra. Like that, we cannot say. But same time, Henry V is continuation of Henry VI, and Henry V is a continuation of Henry IV. So the ending has a scope for the continuation, but in case of Latin histories, there is no scope for continuation. Julius Caesar or Antony and Cleopatra, as Julius Caesar died, and that's the end, and as Antony and Cleopatra died, and that's all. That's the end of that particular play. The Roman plays are more poetic than English history plays. Antony and Cleopatra contains some of the most poetic lines ever written by Shakespeare. So the fifth last point is that Roman history deal with the lines are poetic lines. Shakespeare wrote the poetic lines in Roman history, but in English history plays Shakespeare wrote a kind of prosaic lines. Okay. So that's the end of this topic. With this, the fourth event is over. Thank you.